السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Masjid Carpark. In the following
Wait,
podcast,
aren't I supposed to do that?
In the following podcast, we'll be wasting your time for the next 1.5 hour.
1.5
I'm doing a
hours?
Lex Friedman.
Who's that?
He's one of those. He's an MRT guy who's got a podcast. But just his intro, he goes, "Welcome to the Lex Friedman podcast. For the next hour, we'll be meeting the world, the best arm wrestling champion of the world.
Yeah.
And we're discussing. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Anyway,
You just said we'll be wasting your time for an hour and a half. We're wasting our own time for an hour.
because you can do so many better things. No, inshallah, this will protect you from.
Can I do the intro now?
Yes, bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. You don't like the wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, do you? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 36. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.
Please do it. If you're watching it, please do subscribe.
He's actually really
It
asking.
helps
guys.
us.
Guys, he's really asking, yeah?
Alhamdulillah.
Tell all your friends. Tell your mama. Wait,
Yeah.
can I say that in a Muslim Masjid Carpark
Yeah.
podcast?
Do subscribe, please. Welcome back. It's
Lata-
been a long
2 months,
2 months
man.
exactly. As of today,
But
it's 2
so
months.
much has happened.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, so we need to get back on track. We've been
Were we ever on track?
just the regularity of things, but so
Regularity.
many regularity.
Oh,
So it
I'm
started.
I'm loving this.
I mean, the summer holidays. I started. I think last time we recorded, I think the next day or 2 days later, I went on my trip to Sydney.
Did you
and-
make it?
No, it was fantastic. I took the new car or the old car, second-hand car that I got, the Prado. So I took it to Sydney, Canberra, Sydney. Probably a weird time to go over New Year's Eve and stuff because nobody's in Canberra. It was a ghost town.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
weird.
I went to Canberra last weekend, yeah.
Canberra's a ghost town regardless anyways.
Yeah, but this was like there's no one lives there. Like no one's there. I think got a little bit of COVID and a bit of more of just all the civil servants.
You got COVID?
No. Well, that's afterwards. We're getting to that. So that was the first thing. So I had this amazing trip and mashallah, Sydney, and did then went down to Wollongong, do the Blue Mountains, went to sea. The whole Sydney experience. Sydney's the best for visiting.
Yeah.
It's so much better than Melbourne for visiting.
no way,
food-wise,
man. Melbourne rock.
no.
I'm gonna
no,
disagree.
I
Strongly
No,
disagree.
no,
I'm
Listen,
sorry.
Sydney food-wise.
Listen.
No.
Because he's the
Let me
travel blogger.
express my
All right.
food-wise halal food better
That's
than
because you've
Melbourne.
got no life
Really?
in Melbourne.
Yeah, 100. It's got more
It
variety.
does.
Does it really?
Yeah,
does.
just go to
Variety
Phillies,
does.
like the halal Philly steak sandwich, whatever.
I
And
thought
all the
Melbourne
US
was the top.
The
when it
food,
comes to
Melbourne is the
Melbourne.
food capital of the world for or of Australia for non-halal.
kafirs, but not for us. We
yeah.
unfortunately
For halal
Subhanallah.
we suffer here.
Well,
No,
we
it's not
don't
that-
We've got
suffer.
amazing
It's not
Italian
that bad.
restaurants. We got the closest we got to Italian restaurants is like the Somali pasta. You know, like
What about
No, it's not.
there's no.
There's-
I mean, you go there, they've got pork and like there are some halal places actually that do pasta. Like
I've got halal pork.
I mean,
Hey,
whatever. Pork. Say that.
Hand slaughtered pork. You go
No,
there,
no,
they've got pork.
no.
The bacon's
Italian
been
haram
done
ones we're talking about.
just nicely.
it could be talking about the fake pork, the
Faking?
tofu.
Nah,
Yeah.
if you go to Sydney, the American style burger places like
Notice
full-
how he said nut.
Yeah.
the
Every time he says no, we got to catch him out.
the
on
American style franchises, the chicken places,
Yeah.
just much more variety.
it. Dougie's.
And Dougie's. Well, not
Dougie's.
Dougie's.
No,
Phillies is much
I
better.
love Dougie's,
Phillies
man.
is much better.
Here's
Dougie's
a
okay.
shout
Have
out
you been to
Dougie's.
Phillies?
No.
Then you don't know. Then you can't
I
compare.
don't know these names.
Nah.
It sounds like
not
an
a
American.
franchise, like American franchises, like American style burger joint, but hand slaughtered chicken, like
Wow.
like no issues of halal, like
Yeah.
mashallah.
Mashallah.
Yeah. And if there is an issue, please don't tell me. But I checked with the reliable ulama. I checked with reliable ulama over there, and they send me a list of all the food Mexican place. Like
Wow.
you got the
Wow.
typical like Thai and Malay type, but then got all these things that we don't have in Melbourne, and really good quality food. Like I mean, not very healthy, but good, like tasty. Really enjoyed it. The kids, my sons, I went with my sons. They enjoyed it, and interesting, you know, like getting out of Melbourne, seeing a total different city, just so big, Sydney, you know, and lively.
What about you, Lata?
That was 2 months.
well,
that was
he's still going.
That was almost 2 months ago. I'm just saying, there's a lot more to tell you after that. So, what did you do in the end of December over the New Year's?
I did so much that it's just all over the place. I mean, I got cats. I got 2 little cats.
Oh yes, that's right. He
I
loves
started-
his cat.
They're called kittens.
Well, they're cats now.
Okay.
Like they were. I mean, yeah, they're still kittens. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
technically still kittens, but they're huge now. I started gardening. I started growing my own veggies.
Right, this guy. I have to interrupt
What did you grow?
there. This guy's full on about his gardening now.
It's.
He's very serious.
I think it's my new thing.
Don't mess
that,
with him when it comes to your
it's-
garden.
It's actually it's a lot of fun. I
what do you-
highly recommend it.
See what
I know
I'm
it sounds
saying?
boring, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's convince us.
Yeah.
First, convince yourself. Then convince.
Honestly, I actually enjoy it.
What did you?
because-
What have you grown?
So I grow cucumbers.
We can't mention that here.
No. Let's be serious. No, cucumbers, chilies, jalapenos.
Oh wow.
Like herbs like basil and what's parsley.
Mint.
Yeah, mint. Mint is easy. Mint
Mint is like a
Look at
weed.
this way.
Mint. You just
Yeah,
leave it. and
yeah,
It does it itself.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What did you have to do for the
I had
basil?
For the basil, just water it every day. That's about it.
Okay.
It's a nice.
What do you
proper
make with
bush.
basil?
Pasta.
Pasta?
Yeah.
Oh, you put it in pasta.
Basil's really nice with pasta.
On pizza.
All
yeah,
you
basil,
need
yeah.
for a good pasta is just a nice tomato dish and just some basil on top, and it's amazing. You know,
I'm actually hungry right now.
Okay.
I'm also growing cherry tomatoes and regular tomatoes as well.
And you get these plants from Bunnings, or where do you get them from?
They're all from Bunnings.
Oh, okay.
The seeds and everything from Bunnings. And around my house, I've been finding like empty plastic containers, and I've been using that to grow my plants, and it works pretty well because I don't have soil.
And what's
Seriously,
inspiring
like,
this?
Honestly, it was me hanging out with an older gentleman and him gardening.
This
and
is
me
usually
looking
an
at him-
older gentleman
Yeah,
type
me,
of
me,
hobby.
me looking at him
He's
going,
actually a machine. This
yeah,
guy.
Okay.
this guy's a machine.
This guy's a machine.
And me
Alright.
just
He's
looking at
still
him
older.
going, all right, well, he's growing his own food. I should start doing that. Let me give it a go. And then
I wouldn't call it food, more like garnish. He's growing his own garnishes.
yeah. But
What are you talking about?
herbs and
Tomatoes? No,
garnishes.
tomatoes,
If you can-
cucumbers. What else?
we made a meal from it. So what I did was I took the tomatoes, the basil, the chilies, and made a nice pasta. So
Okay,
you know,
that's a start.
apart from the pasta,
Yeah.
which maybe
Yeah.
one day, but everything else was like grown and produced, and just that feeling of like, subhanallah, I don't actually have to go to the supermarket. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
I get that.
provides.
It's nice.
It really reminds you about the qudrat of Allah. When
It
you
is-
see
it's
something
true.
coming out of the ground.
I was reading in Tafsir last week, not this week, previous Sunday, and in Surah Al-An'am, and it specifically mentions about plants. Allah, in that section, there's ayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about two great signs. One is the things that you consume from the plant life,
Yeah.
and the seeds and the grain and so forth.
SubhanAllah.
And one of the ulama mentioned, he goes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like you watch it grow, you watch the seasons, you watch the thing. And because we don't do that today, it's like a sign of Allah, like we just buy it at Safeway. And you see it gradually, the more time goes, it's, before you used to buy vegetables like loose,
Yeah.
and even in Woolworths, in Safeway. Like,
Yeah, and now they're just
now,
packaged.
It's just
yeah,
plastic.
packaged, yes.
How
You
much
scan
plastic
it.
is it kills me how
It's
much plastic
scan
is
it.
being wasted.
You scan it, and like it's gradually becoming less, and it's becoming more like a process. Even though it's not processed, grown on the farm in soil. Some of it is hydroponics, but most of it is grown in Australia. We have the land for it. But that was one sign, and then the along with that, the sign that was coupled with it is the sign of the heavenly bodies, the star, the sun, and so
See,
forth.
that's why we go to Mars.
So that if you look in the earth, but the problem is
Yeah.
on the, like you get to experience that, is that on the ground we the things that we consume, like plant life or animal life that we consume, it's so packaged and processed. But even if it's fresh meat, but we never get to see the animal,
Yeah.
Desensitized
and
to all
we
of
don't
that.
see the plant growing, like it was small, then it was big.
I think if we actually saw the animal that we were slaughtering, we would drastically cut down our meat consumption, because it's.
No,
'cause
bro.
Imagine you have to actually grab the animal and kill it. Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I have
halal.
no problem with that.
Okay, but you have to actually catch it.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But okay, so how many
It's
times can you
screaming.
go out there and catch an animal
Chuck
and then
a-
slaughter
chuck a
it,
couple
clean
of-
up, clean
chuck a couple
clean
of
all
lambs.
clean all the all the mess and it's
Let's leave all the middle process, but at least seeing the animal in vicinity, just seeing the animals growing,
Yeah.
and like they were babies and they're growing
that's
to big animals,
and that too.
and that part of it, like you actually see this creature that you consume. So there's an appreciation of
You'll
Allah's-
consume everything.
the sign.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
see the
You
sign.
wouldn't waste it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't waste anything.
Yeah, the sign of Allah there in front of you,
Yeah,
and then
subhanallah.
that living animal turns into meat,
Yeah,
into kebab, into a
I,
burger.
the older generation had that.
You appreciate.
yeah, they did.
Like
Yeah.
every part, it just brings to mind a story about my grandma.
Mm.
When you buy a rock melon, even the seeds inside, they used to consume it. The peels would
No,
go
they
somewhere
waste
to be-
nothing. Mashallah.
Nothing is wasted,
Yeah.
literally. And today, if there's a little bit
Yeah.
of green on the rock melon, see you later.
Yeah.
Mullah Khalid just chucks it out.
There's two parts of the animal, three parts of the animal, like from what's considered offal or the
Offal?
offal
Alright,
is
where you going with
it's,
this?
the organ meats
Oh, okay.
that I like. I like brain curry.
What?
Oh,
Veg-
I love. have
yeah,
you ever
it's-
had- oh, bro.
Yeah, it's actually
Lada, you've had it.
very nice.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
just didn't know it.
it looked like omelette. You look,
Oh.
Here's an omelette. I'm just
No,
eating
no, it
brains.
was just
it's
mashed up.
creamier. It's the it's actually very delicious. In
No,
Australia,
I like fried brain with roti in the morning.
okay, but no, I like the. I was in India, and there's a restaurant every Tuesdays to go to it, and they did like brain. I used to wait for it, and it's like they bring like a big thing. There's like hundreds of sheep brains, cooked into this cauldron. It was delicious. That I like a stomach.
You're not
Go to
selling
India
it.
next time.
What do you call a stomach? Not stomach. What is it called?
No, intestine.
No, not intestine. It's not intestine.
The liver?
The one that you have to clean a lot.
Yeah, the stomach. That's the stomach.
No, there's another tripe. Tripe.
yeah,
That's what it's
that's
called.
the
It's
stomach
stomach. Yeah, the
yeah.
lining, and it's
That's-
got.
that's
It's,
I've had that. I've had that.
it's got a.
I had that at my house.
Yeah, they make nice curry. You can make Turks make nice
Thanks,
soup. They
I'll
make
tell you about everything else later.
Turks make nice soup out of it. They sell it just up the road here
Yeah.
in Barra Road. It's our one's more like the subcontinent one's a bit
I
more
like that.
spicy.
I prefer the subcontinent one when it comes
that
to
dung smell is reduced a bit.
Yeah.
Whatever that smell is, that flavor. And then the third one was
tongue. I love
tongue.
tongue.
Is nice as well.
Tongue is
I
nice.
love
I'll
tongue.
agree
Tongue
with you
is
guys on
cooked.
that.
Yeah,
Tongue is nice.
tongue is nice. And then liver, but liver
Liver's good too.
For me, it has to be raw. Like
What?
that's a thing I got from my dad. Is
What?
that raw liver, Lebanese thing. I'm Pakistani, but probably everybody knows by now. But
No.
because my dad he was I'm in a basically Lebanese mosque
Yeah.
in Brazil. So he lived with them, and then we grew up there as well. So he acquired this habit of eating raw liver. So you basically slice it and dice it into little cubes, and then you put a lot of salt in it, pepper. You can add tomatoes and onions and all that sort of stuff, and then you get a toothpick and then to have it with it. It is more tastier than cooked liver.
I'm not sold on that.
Nah, neither am I.
It is.
I'm trying to process it, thinking, what can I do in order to make it more appetizing? I think I'll have to add the tomatoes and
no.
just cover it in
mint.
things.
They add mint to it. They add.
Just add heaps of jalapenos. Your mouth
Yeah.
just-
But we generally used to have it at home just salt, just liver and
Do you
salt.
still eat it?
Yeah, if I get liver, probably a few months ago I had some.
Why don't we do like a podcast where you bring in raw liver with that and we do a taste test live on camera?
Yeah,
Like a mukbang or something.
No sound effects, please. No sound effects. No.
yeah,
I'm out. if anyone makes any sound, I'm out.
yeah. But it is actually those are like few of the offal, like the organ meats.
Yeah.
And you guys make good. Your dad makes good paya, like which is the
guy's a machine.
trotters, the
Mashallah.
feet,
Mashallah.
goat feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah, mashallah, he does. He really
Yeah,
does.
it's an acquired taste.
Mm.
It's
and
an
it takes,
acquired.
bro,
It's
it
an
takes
acquired.
hours to make, man. You have to
Yeah,
have
you
patience.
melt the feet of the goat.
Or the cartilage, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like got a stickiness to it, but
I
it's
could eat that.
yeah, it's
Do you guys eat chicken feet?
I've had chicken feet in the past.
Yeah.
It's just too weird for me.
yeah.
Like it just
Where it's
the way it's it's just the way they look like.
Yeah, they
bubbles.
just look like
It
chicken
looks
feet.
like a 90-year-old skin,
Yeah.
human
yeah.
skin,
Yeah, pretty much.
and you
Or
just
wrinkled.
suck it off, and it's just heaps of not the 90-year-old human
Just sort of
skin.
registered. That's gross.
Where you going with this, bro?
Yeah.
Right, right. And then you've got all these tiny little bones that you just like. Yeah, it's.
Do you remove
I
the
didn't
skin
enjoy
off it?
No, that's what you eat.
That's what
'cause
you
that's
eat,
what it is. Yeah, it's really
No, because
wrinkly.
if you guys,
Like you got to clean all the crevices, all the shit. I mean, excuse my language, but all the crevices you have to clean.
Yeah.
It just basically looks like when you look in the mirror. Let's not go there, people.
Yeah, so
Is that going to be edited out?
mashallah. So congratulations on your garden, and
Jazakallah.
have you actually made? Oh, you made a meal from it.
He's
Yeah,
made a
yeah.
meal.
Mashallah. All right, nice.
Hey, you were
I've-
meant to give me veggies like
I was supposed to give
about
this
a few
guy
weeks ago.
chilies, but I forgot it in the house.
And
I
then
thought I left it
a
in
lot
the
of
car.
stuff.
What do
happened
they
since
call in the US? There's like co-op gardens or something. They're doing on rooftops of apartment buildings, and
then. They do it here as well.
yeah, they do it here as well. But there's a specific word that they use for it in America. They're doing it like to the point of that, especially in those inner city sort of areas where people are not eating healthy, to create. That was actually, it was a very effective way. I was reading some Chicago somewhere. They created like a very good culture of eating, like in the community, of educating on healthy food, because unhealthy food like is cheap, you know. So like fried
It is,
chicken or whatever it is, you know, pizzas, all that sort of stuff is cheap. So they were like, that was actually a good way to sort of educate the community. And the production was so much they're giving it out for free to people at some point.
This is making me want a garden.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to see some amazing co-op gardens, just go for a ride down Mary Creek.
Really?
Oh, they use that. It's like
Especially
council
down
land.
Brunswick Way. Yeah, down
Yeah.
Brunswick Way. They're farms.
Yeah.
They're like mini farms, and yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, I think I noticed that in the Greeks, Italians community,
Lebanese.
Lebanese as
If you
well,
have a look at
Turks.
Coburg, Brunswick,
All these like
Faulkner.
the ones that have got farming backgrounds, like their families
Yeah.
are farmers.
Yeah.
You see them that they've recreated. Like if you go in their backyards, you'll see
It's there. They've all
like
just
not
recreated
small. It's not a small veggie patch.
yeah,
they're
it's,
massive.
It's not a veggie patch.
It's in little
an
industrial,
yeah, there's a guy in Coburg.
Yeah.
He's got a massive block next to his house that's his as well.
Yeah.
Bought it years ago. It's a farm.
Wow.
Mashallah.
It's a farm. Every little bit
Oh wow.
has been used.
I
to
can
do something.
definitely see the appeal on those people who, like, you know, living in the city and then just drop everything and go farm,
Go bush.
go bush and just farm. I can definitely see the appeal.
I
in
don't
that.
mind a bit of bush myself.
Visiting the bush is easy. Growing a veggie patch maybe a little bit harder. Like growing a hobby, sort of like planting, is good. Growing a hobby farm, what do you call it? A veggie patch is a bit more work.
I think
But
it'd be
farming,
nice.
but farming, like proper farming,
It'll be hard work.
it's a
Dawn
whole,
till-
it's
it's
a
dawn
whole,
till
But
dusk.
but what I'm saying is it's enjoyable. Like I can actually see
working
how
the
people
land.
work in the land and actually enjoy it. Whereas before this whole gardening episode, I was like, why would you be doing this?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I
machinery.
like concreting and then just
Concreting.
putting a pool there or something like that. I prefer that.
Yeah, no, but it's a lot of like proper farmers, the ones that are doing like proper. That's their livelihood. It's a extremely stressful because of the droughts and
Yeah,
water
I
and
can
so
imagine.
forth.
Yeah.
And then the hours they have to work, like when it's harvest time, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. They're waking up to do.
And if it's in summer, they work at night because
Yeah.
it's so hot out
Yeah.
there.
And the potential of losing the harvest as well.
Exactly,
To
yeah.
anything.
And the thing is, a lot of it is romanticized.
Yes.
I was actually doing.
Which I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
you're big time, right? I
Yeah.
was reading
That's
Clancy.
why
of
we're
the-
having this discussion.
You know, Clancy of the Overflow, Banjo Patterson's poem. This was my
Okay.
daughter earlier on for school or whatever it is, right? And I was explaining to her that his job was to romanticize the bush, and that's what he did. And now, as an adult, when you read it and you read into it, you're like, mate, this guy's selling the dream.
Yeah.
Back then, right? Like,
Australian dream.
yeah, he's selling the dream, and it's
Yeah.
the white Australian dream,
Yeah.
right? Forget about everything else that happens. But yeah, he's enjoying your garden. I think have I tried to garden? No, I haven't.
I recommend, man, you should do it. Helps with stress if you're stressed, because it just takes your mind off, and you just boom. It's all about the
But you
plant.
need time,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
like to weed the garden, prepare the garden, till the earth, get that cow with the plow.
Nah,
how am I going to
relax.
bring a cow to my house? All right, how am I going to bring a cow to my front yard?
You're
Everyone's
just
going to
making
freak out.
He's just putting excuses in his
Yeah.
mind not to garden. I need a cow. I need hundreds and hundreds of acres of land.
Yeah, that's the-
I only have like 50 acres. I need another 43,500
yeah,
acres
to make it work.
make
Australian
it-
farming.
to make
exactly.
it worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like little countries, those big ranches and farms.
Oh, they're bigger than
Yeah.
countries. And a
Some
lot of them
countries,
are
yeah.
becoming privatized and being owned
You're
by
living in a house
corporations.
or apartment or what is it, unit?
It's it's a unit, but it's on the ground.
So it's got a garden.
It's got a garden, backyard.
No, his garden he's made is in like containers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But he's pulling out stuff
everything's
from these containers. It's amazing.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. He's right into it.
Yeah.
It's not in the earth like tilling the earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Does it
it's
take a lot of water?
salt of the
Does it
earth.
take a lot of water?
Not really.
Yeah.
The cucumbers do.
How
Cucumbers are
did
super
everything
thirsty.
survive over the heat wave? Like,
Lebanese, they love the
last week?
cucumbers as well.
Well, with the cucumbers, I've got to water them at least during the heat wave. I had to water the soil and the actual
Leaves.
the leaves. I had to do that twice a day. If I skipped and I only watered once, the leaf would what was it
Wilt.
called? Yeah,
Wilt.
they would wilt. And then the next day, I'd just pour some more water and then they'll revive again. But I realized that if I just maintain the
Would you be able to do that
No.
twice a day like that? That
No.
patience level, mashallah.
it's-
But that's you. It's right
honest-
up your alley.
honestly, it
I've
just
got too much to do.
it takes-
Lada's Farmer Joe.
it takes like literally 5 minutes.
But you have to remember to do it.
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't.
only
I,
thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember to lock my front door.
But yeah, that's a good.
Okay.
This guy scares me the way the way he
Let's
lives.
not mention that. The whole world's like, oh,
Yeah. By the way, his address is.
Yeah. Oh, mashallah.
What?
man.
Yeah, December. What else did you do?
After December, I came back and I got COVID at the beginning of January. So I got
Yeah.
Omicron, and I was did the isolation for a week. I was sick for about 12 to 24, 12
That was
hours.
after we went bush, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happened was, I came back from holidays, did a Jummah. I'm sure I got it in the Jummah. Then on the weekend, I came to. I think I might have been the one that.
And no, it wasn't you.
I was
100%, it wasn't you. Oh,
Yeah.
we've done the timeline, everything else. It was somebody else.
So who was it?
And they've admitted it. I know they've admitted
Say
to
it
it
on
as well.
podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, okay.
So anyway, I caught it, and I got sick for it was first 12 hours. It was like
But
it was
first 12 hours.
shaking.
Are you going to give a
and,
plug to my tents?
their tents were really great. Like the tents were.
He came out bush like that.
Yeah. No, I just
Oh,
came.
you were with us as well, Lata.
because
You came that
my
night.
son's
Yeah.
friends were there, so he was staying there. So I came to drop him off, and I just wanted to just hang out for a little bit, and then I had too much work to do, so I had to come back. It's only a couple of hours. How far is it from Melbourne? 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah. So, enjoy. But that tent that he's got, which is
Yeah.
just pull it up and click.
Yeah, it's
That's
amazing.
It.
Mashallah.
Yeah, and it's a
Yeah,
good tent.
mashallah.
Mashallah. And
Actually, all of us were at that camp.
Yeah, at some
You
point.
just went home. Lata came that night.
okay.
Late.
Yeah.
Late that night.
Yeah. No, it was
Lata was,
10:30
Lata was driving the Aussie bush. What were you
Yeah.
looking for?
No, I got lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the navigator.
Yeah.
No, I got there pretty quick. It was pretty straightforward. I mean,
Yeah.
Google's like just put it in there, and
Sometimes Google tells me go right instead of left. So
yeah.
There's just this
Yeah.
silence of
Yeah.
how did you manage that?
it just happens.
Yeah. You shouldn't put. No, don't worry about it.
He
So
was
anyway,
about
I
to
got
say something.
COVID. I got COVID. Then I was like 12 hours. Alhamdulillah, wasn't that bad. And like first 12, like I was, it started. There's the nights where it's just
shakes, yeah.
shaking.
Sure, that was from COVID.
It was like a lot. And then by 12 hours into it, sort of like started to settle, but not 100%. And within like 24 hours to 48 hours, it's like normalizing. But it's not 100% gone. It's still like lingering. Only I felt now this is like a month and a bit out from it, and now I'm just sort of, I feel like it's sort of recovered. But it's been going like sort of, it keeps
Well,
on.
what are the effects?
The throat thing, the it's not the sore throat. The
Is that from COVID?
yeah. The throat, scratchy throat,
I'm being
and
I was going to shut up.
yeah. So and sort of like I probably even just like 2 days ago, maybe 1 or 2 days ago, I felt like okay, I'm sort of like, it's like gone, but that's been sort of happening. Like I've been improved, like I was feeling good, and then then like the fatigue kicks in again.
Yeah.
So it just sort of not 100%.
Yeah, we had it twice in our house over this last 2 months period. 7-day quarantine, and then a few weeks later
Isolation.
again.
It's called quarantine.
Isolation,
Yeah.
right? And then a few
Yeah.
weeks later again, we've become very good at online ordering, or the missus has.
Yeah. A
And,
menu log or
No, not menu log.
Shopping.
Safeway.
oh okay yeah.
It's so good. Not that I do it.
Yeah, it's convenient. Yeah,
It's
and
pretty
if you have your
convenient.
set thing, like you just press it and just orders everything that you've ordered
It's
before.
pretty impressive, mashallah.
As long as you're not ordering any veggies or fruits and stuff, because they always give you bad veggies. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's been
Mashallah.
alright. But
Depends
the thing
on
is, they
which
sell
shop.
each vegetable as an individual.
Mm.
So 1 banana or 10
Yeah.
bananas. It's not per kilo.
Yeah.
That was a bit weird. What have I been doing? Thanks for asking.
Camping.
No, that's okay.
Geelong Foreshore.
Oh yeah, I went. I've been
was-
bush a few times. Alhamdulillah, it was good. And new discovery, Geelong Foreshore. Get there, ladies and gentlemen. It's basically full of Muslims.
Mashallah.
Diving boards, lifesavers there,
Yeah.
which is
Mashallah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They've blocked off basically a part of the sea. And if you just even Google Geelong Foreshore, it's phenomenal.
But when you say blocked off, what is it? Just a net?
It's not a net; it's a proper structure.
Oh wow.
They've built a proper structure. And lifeguards there, they've got like 5-meter diving boards. A lot of fun. It took me a lot of courage to do it. Finally did it. But I made a point of saying to the lifeguards, keep an eye out for me.
Yeah.
I actually said to them.
Yeah.
Right. Apart from that, yeah, a lot's been happening. Nothing that we can really discuss on the podcast, but it's been an interesting 2 months.
It definitely
Happy to
has.
see you gentlemen again.
Likewise, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, it feels like things are going to normalize.
Inshallah,
Inshallah. Traveling has started. People.
He says as Russia is entering into Ukraine.
I'm talking about from the COVID perspective. Yeah, I know. That's a shocker. But no, from the COVID perspective, like traveling is opening up within this week. A lot of restrictions will be gone. Like
People are coming back. People are leaving.
Yeah. They
But you know what?
We went to Sydney. I went to
unless
Canberra.
there's another variant comes out, that's the only worry. Other than that, as for
bro,
COVID,
I'm at
it
this.
seems like we're on the way
I'm
out.
at
Do,
the
do,
stage
do you guys
now,
think
I'm over it.
do you guys think the election has anything to do with it?
No.
Upcoming election?
Do with what?
This whole
Talk
sense
to
of
me,
freedom.
Lata,
This
talk
whole
to
sense
me.
of freedom, you know what I mean? Because it wouldn't be a good look.
I mean, obviously, the prime minister or whoever they'll take credit for their response and all that sort of stuff, and they will retrospectively they really didn't know what they were doing. They were shooting in the dark. They were trying to figure out, but they will, of course, that's what they're going to use. They're going to use like their response, the economic packages that they created, the JobKeep, all that sort of stuff. They're going to be playing that up. So how well they did and Australia did well, and Australia did protect their country and the population. Like the worst part of it, the original wave and then the Delta wave, like compared to other countries, we did really well.
We did
if you look at the deaths and rates and so forth, so we came pretty much
So
unscathed.
are you saying the Victorian lockdown was worth it?
No, we had no choice. Based on the data that was available then, there was no choice. And it did work.
But compared to
the
the
cases
rest
did
of the
go down.
world, compared to New South Wales, compared to everybody
But
else?
New South Wales didn't have the number of cases we had. That's a reality. So, yeah. So, whatever it was, the decisions were made, the advice was taken at the time. And then for Omicron, they adjusted it because that was it's like almost a different sickness they were dealing with. And so they adjusted it. And
Could you go through a lockdown again?
it'd be very hard. But I think it depends on what the lockdown's for. If the lockdowns, let's say, Allah forbid, but there's another variant, it's much more infectious and there's more deaths coming out of it, then you don't have actually a choice. Like the government doesn't have a choice. Like the Western Australia Premier said, even they've opened up their border as well. What he said was, I'm not going to have the deaths of other people on my conscience. It's very simple. Like that's his prerogative. Like I said, I will not take the responsibility for that. Hence the strict lockdowns that they had. And they weathered it well. Like the Delta one, they barely had any cases. They locked down their borders very strictly and they did a hard closed border. And they hardly got any cases for Delta, which mattered.
Just the thought of locking down just gives me shivers.
Yeah, I mean, inshallah not. There doesn't seem
Inshallah not.
inshallah, unless. But the thing is that you got to realize this thing is out now. It's in the community, and variants will be coming. But we
That's
don't know
right.
what the variant. It's an unknown. Like the Delta was so different to Omicron was so mild compared to. I mean, it still killed people. It's still killing people. Have still got to die from it, depending on who they are. But what underlying conditions, all that sort of stuff, but that is not like Delta. So Delta's like. That was really like India, what it went through. So when we were watching the Indian thing, they were burning thousands of bodies a day.
It feels so surreal. It feels like such a long time ago. It
does,
like,
yeah.
Like we weren't even
6
part
months
of it.
ago. No, 8 months ago.
Yeah, but it feels like we weren't even part of it.
Yeah.
It
Like,
feels
it's just
so
like,
long
like
ago.
a movie.
Yeah.
And even from
it's surreal. It is surreal.
2019, where it started in 2020 till now, these last 2 years, it's just like, what happened to the world?
I'm going Umrah, inshallah, because everything goes well next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Now, that Umrah was planned at the beginning of 2020. So I've been waiting 2 years for this Umrah.
Subhanallah.
I can't complain because I went to Umrah 2 years ago. But this is going with a group from
There's
Australia.
no Hajj Aswad is blocked off now, isn't it?
I don't know what the restrictions are that are there. They keep changing it and adjusting it and so forth. They've done some good things, and I think it's a good thing with the way they've cleared the mataf. Like, you actually have to go to a checkpoint, and if you've done an umrah already, like, you have to register for umrah, right?
Register?
Yeah, you can do tawafs, extra tawafs and all that sort of stuff, but on the top floor and all that,
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? So you
but
can't go down to the
if
main
you come
area?
for your umrah on that trip,
Yeah.
I think I think that's a good thing, because then it limits the number and the crowds in that place. So if you're arriving for your umrah now, then you're not sort of competing for place with everybody. You're only the people that are doing umrah at that time. And in one trip, you can only do one umrah or something like that. There's some restriction put on it. So you can
And
You can do a
if
second umrah. You can do a second umrah, but you won't be able to get into that place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So if you're going to do tawaf, just extra tawaf,
you'll have to do it
up the
upstairs.
top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long walk.
Yeah, but if you want to do it, like, you'll do it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's the point is that that's a smart way, actually. That they had they probably used their time wisely to actually calculate and put logistics and restrictions into place, which actually benefits everybody, because how else are you going to do that? Like, I was thinking, like, just from, I mean, it's just my opinion in my head. Like, it's not to give it Saudi government advice, but I was just thinking they could actually sink the floor, the mataf.
Yeah.
Make there is a level down there where people do I think they can go around, but it's like very, like, it's
Exclusive.
like you might as well be on the top, like. So, but if the mataf actual place that immediately around the Kaaba is dropped, there's made multiple levels. I know they did the rings on top, but that's practically not a very.
No, what do you mean?
And it blocks the view.
So where the Kaaba is.
You've got the Kaaba, and around you got the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have that floor, then you have another floor underneath it at the same place.
But that's not. But that's still the Kaaba, part of the Kaaba. 'cause it
Yeah,
goes
the
all the way
Kaaba is
down
not the building. The Kaaba is the spot on the earth.
Oh, subhanallah.
Right.
Yeah, so whether you go higher or lower, it makes no difference as long as you go around that spot. Yeah. So
there. That's interesting.
yeah. But what I'm saying, we don't even know. Like, when we're going in, like, there's all these apps we have to use now, and things we have to register and whatever. So I'll find out, let you know when I come back, like, how the process is.
If you come back.
Yeah, inshallah, inshallah. Yeah, inshallah. Look, I think regarding COVID, I think you asked about the lockdowns, whether there's going to be a issue. Like, can we take? I don't think we have a choice. If it happens again, and it's more severe or something, we just have to go with whatever laws that are in place. And
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Lada, let's just go to your.
Inshallah, nothing. Inshallah, it's
473,000
gone.
Let's just go to Lada's 473,000 acres out bush. Grow some veggies.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a dream.
yeah.
That's the dream.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Can you
I'll
just
give it to you.
like, where would be the ideal place to get a land where you get good quality water?
You would need to be next to a river at least.
East.
Yeah,
If you're in Victoria, Eastern Victoria.
Eastern. That's just mountains. There's no farms there. Farms are west.
No, but the
Northwest.
thing is, depends how big you're talking and what you want to farm,
Yeah,
right? The lake,
and even with
obviously.
water, you have restrictions.
So that's what I'm saying. It
Like,
depends.
you
what
can't
you
just
wanna
take
farm.
water out of the river.
Yeah, but no, it's not about taking water out of the river. It's what the water does to the soil.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't want to be in an area where it's just barren.
Wherever
Yeah,
there's
which is
volcanic
most of
activity.
Australia.
Well,
Yeah,
in
like
that case,
99%.
then that's cattle.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about vegetables,
Mm.
then there are specific places you need to go.
Yeah.
Unless you want just mangoes and you go far north Queensland.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind a mango right now.
You would think that there's far north Queensland, large rivers, whatever, they would sort of pump them into the centre of Australia. I think they did do that somewhere in Western Australia, where they made like instead of an oil pipeline, made a water one,
Oh wow.
like to transport water like over a long distance. But you would think that they would like dive instead of all that, like the Derwent River and all those rivers in the north.
going out to the sea.
Yeah,
But that's part of the ecosystem for it to go out to the sea. That in itself is an ecosystem. So all those animals there, everything that's there. So what you're doing is you're changing the makeup.
Yeah,
So that has an effect as well.
yeah. I mean that.
So if you're looking at farming or if you're looking at environmentally friendly farming, there's a lot of different aspects that are there. And a lot of farmers now are moving towards more environmentally
Well, yeah,
friendly
because
farming practices.
they're trying to get rid of them.
Rid
These
of what?
these
Farmers.
There's
It's all conglomerates. I got it. It's these big. A lot of these farms now, cattle farms, they're owned by either very wealthy families or corporations.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the way that they're
Monsanto.
getting these little farmers out is through climate, and then the corporations take over. So they attack them and say, oh, you're not responsible in your
Yeah,
climate,
yeah.
whatever. You've got too much cattle, meat, and you know, and then these guys lose, or not lose, but they're kind of chased out of their business, and then a corporation comes and takes over.
China owns a lot of farms in Australia.
Does it?
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, I saw those
even
Chinese
dairy farms
nationals
in-
who were. Do you remember the powdered milk thing?
Oh.
Yeah.
Even the dairy farm. There's dairy
I don't know
farms
if
in
you do you
Tasmania.
remember that?
Yeah, I did a few trades, made a.
Oh, did
nice-
you?
Oh, no.
What, with baby milk?
Nah, what I
You're selling Australian baby milk.
Oh,
You know?
no, I wasn't selling it. I was just so.
Did you see the video? How
Yeah,
they
I saw
were
it.
like just going in and out of.
Literally
Yeah,
groups of
one container here is $25. In China, it was $210 or something like that.
Yeah,
So you can make a killing.
Yeah, I always
if you had a
get in late.
connection.
the Chinese.
I always get in late on
And
this
they,
stuff.
they love Aussie products.
Yeah, because
They
they're
love
clean.
it.
The standards are so high. New Zealand is
Clean.
New Zealand as well, and they were you know, have you seen the fake egg thing?
Fake eggs. Oh,
And
yes.
fake plastic
Fake
rice.
plastic.
The rice one is like a bit, but the egg one was freaky. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
How they make it in lab?
No.
There's fake lettuce as well.
What do they make it from?
Freaky.
I don't know this. I've just seen.
No, but the egg one is edible. It's going to shops.
yeah, this
How
is
do they
this
make
is
it?
edible
people
How
too.
not
do they make
telling-
an egg in a lab?
I'm not sure. They get like the white part and the yellow part. They make like a.
It's not egg. It's just it's something else, but it's edible. Even the lettuce, it's made from the same thing that the egg is made of,
Yeah.
but it's just green in color, and they kind of shape it into a lettuce, and you look at it and you can't tell the difference.
Bro, what the hell's going on with the world, man?
Let's not go anti. We're talking about Chinese Republic. What is it? The Chinese.
Yeah,
The People's Republic of China. We're not talking about Chinese people. I mean, just to be clear. Chinese,
we're not.
The Chinese.
No, we're just talking
we
about.
love Chinese
No, we're
people.
just
Yeah.
talking about
No, but-
practices around the world.
Like I was listening. Was that Bill Maher? His show, Real Time, whatever. He was saying about people were saying that the Wuhan lab theory.
What's
The Wuhan lab theory. People were saying if you say that as a racist, he said actually it's more racist to say that you get diseases from weird looking food. That's actually, isn't that a bit more racist than the Wuhan lab theory? If you question
That's
it,
actually-
you are
that's-
accused of being racist.
that's a good point, because the normal narrative with the wet markets and that sounds pretty racist.
Yeah,
as opposed
yeah,
to it was just an incident in the lab.
Yeah, like if you eat strange
That
food,
can happen anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It was, but
But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What's strange for one person is normal for another person.
I saw the picture of the bat in the soup. It was.
It wasn't beauty.
It was not. I don't know how you even process that. That this is like a fried bat.
Yeah, but that's normal to them. Like
Right,
this is the thing. We just talked about brains.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
This
true.
guy's talking about bat. We just talked about brains, tongue, tripe,
Goat feet.
feet.
That's
Chicken feet.
that's
Chicken
like
feet.
normal over there. I think
No, but
that's like the lowest end. That's
bro,
like
but what
that's
I'm
like
saying is to
boiled
some
egg.
people,
that's
to some people that would be strange.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
it is. It's
To
all
a
you
vegan.
Know, on an
A vegan that switched off a long time ago.
Like, stuff this channel.
Yeah.
Right. So
But there is a problem with animal with animal food. What do you call it? Slaughtering animals and whatever.
and the
consumption.
welfare of the animal as well.
Yeah,
The
There-
thing
there is a
that's become a joke now. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's-
crazy how bad it is.
it's even the halal industry and so forth. Like
Yeah.
it's good. Like all right,
Sharia law industry.
yeah, the certification. Yeah, all right. But if you have a look at it, just step back a bit and be away from the business, and you look at the way it's done. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf in the United States talked about this, and he said that this is not good. These animals are under duress, they're under
And
stress.
under stress, that's
They're
right.
not raised normally. They are. He reckons that a lot of our, Allahu Alam, but he had a view that a lot of our mental
Sicknesses.
sicknesses are coming from the way
Subhanallah.
the animals that are mistreated and the stress that they're under. They're not in a good way. And
And they're traumatized.
there was a lady I was listening to the radio. She was a professor years ago. She had Asperger's, or she was autistic or something like that. But she's like a PhD, but in a savant sort of like. But she could understand animals.
What?
And she said, I know what the cow's thinking in the field. Because it's weird how way her brain was wired.
She's autistic?
Yeah. But she's
Yeah.
like in other things, social things, she might be not be able to communicate effectively. But when it came to understanding animals, it's fascinating. The way she explained it. She said that like there was the cows that were being taken to the slaughterhouse. In one place, they were just jumping. And they couldn't figure out why. And as I went, like, she could understand, like, how they think, cows.
Yeah.
And she said that I realized, there was a piece of metal, like, at a certain spot where they saw their reflection, like it was a nail or something, and that reflection, the metal plate or piece or whatever, is what they were getting spooked by. They saw their own reflection. So it's just, and she was talking about, she's like, because I got to eat meat because I need it for my health. She said that because I need to actually I eat meat, but we don't need to like abuse the animals.
Yeah,
I agree with
know.
that. Like,
Yeah.
and
even
in
those
Islam,
peop-
we don't abuse animals.
And even the people who talk about the vegans, there's actually more animals killed. You know that those fields, the amount of animals they have to kill. Have you seen how they clear the fields?
yeah. It's
Burnt.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah, they actually like it's like a flame, not flamethrowers, but basically
they burn the field. So
Yeah.
lots of animals.
So whatever's in the ground,
They're
gophers and rabbits or whatever, they burn them alive. Like they burn like this. They just basically shoot flames down through the.
No, man.
You know, like the sprayer, like instead of a sprayer, it's like flames into the ground.
and just cook them there.
Yeah, that's for the vegans, so they
Grow
get their
vegetables.
No, it's just so the vegans can have their vegetables because those animals are going to eat. They're going to eat the vegetables.
Yeah, like they're
We're going to be like now it's going to be like all the
Nah, but
vegans
we're
going. "Look at
just-
this
we're
we'll
podcast."
just settle
just-
the Chinese.
We're just
vegans.
pointing out the double-edged sword of the arguments of whether you
Yeah,
eat meat
similar
or eat veggies.
similar to like lithium batteries. You know how much pollution they cause.
Oh, the
toxic.
ship that's on fire that's been burning for I don't know how long. Everyone's
Yeah, and the
evacuated.
amount of pollution that
There's
it's
a ship
caused.
in the middle of the ocean right now burning.
Yeah, 1,100 cars for Porsches.
Like high-end cars.
Sinking.
Not just
Yeah.
Porsches, Beamers, Mercs, everything.
Yeah, I mean
high-end
all
cars
luxury cars and
with those lithium batteries.
and
What a waste.
electric cars, and they
Imagine the
it's
amount of
burning.
pollution getting into the air from those.
Yeah. What we're saying is electric cars are bad for the environment. When they burn, they really burn.
Yeah.
Which is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a fact.
Yeah.
It's,
Did you
and
see
it's
that
very
bus?
hard to put that fire out.
There was a bus I saw on Reddit the other day. There was a bus. It caught fire, and I think it was an electric bus. But the way it caught fire, like within literally like 20 seconds.
That's one scary thing about these electric vehicles.
Yeah.
They're highly.
Remember the Samsung exploding phones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just imagine exploding.
Samsung
Tesla.
notebooks.
Huh?
The Samsung
Yeah, that's
notebooks.
right. Yeah. That, yeah.
Imagine just driving and then.
Well, you're not going to imagine it because
I
you'll be
don't
dead.
think it explodes.
No.
I don't think they explode, but I think the intensity of the fire
Yeah.
just melts everything. Like it's
Yeah,
like
it's not a normal fire.
Yeah.
The heat is a lot. It's a lot hotter than a normal fire.
yeah,
It's not your just normal car burning.
yeah.
Not that I've burnt
what
a
we're
car
saying is-
normally.
And
Electric
how,
cars are
how
bad.
would you? How do you even get rid of the lithium once you've used it and it's depleted?
The car wreck is just down the road.
Yeah, exactly. How do they dispose of it? Is it
Yeah.
just after a certain time? Yeah, there must be like a.
After
Oh,
I think after 10 years or 20 years, you can't
Sometimes
reuse
my
them.
mind boggles when we think about the amount of packaging, the amount of production every day,
Yeah.
the amount of waste, the amount of landfill, the amount of stuff we're pulling out of the ground just to make like how amazing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's put everything there for us to use and it's all coming out, but at the same time humans are just
trashing it.
trashing it.
I think if you're talking about this subject now, you know what I've been thinking about? All these masks and all these
They're going to end up in our waterways.
yeah,
I've thought
like-
about that.
we use it once and throw it away.
Where are they
so it's
going?
just like-
I used mine for a while. Actually, I've had the same one in my pocket for a month.
That's not very.
you know it doesn't work,
Yeah,
right?
It could. It's COVID is scared of it. It won't come near it. I'm building my immunity.
But where are all these millions of masks going to go?
All around the world.
And are they
so
biodegradable?
I have no idea. I've just been thinking about them recently, and I'm just, what happened to all the
Face snappies?
the environmental?
Yeah, well, that's what they are.
Yeah. But in Australia, most of the rubbish goes into the. People just
China.
drop them and they go into the
Yeah.
waterways. But our waterways don't go directly into the sea. They don't. They get
No,
like,
our drains do.
do they
Yeah.
directly?
No, they get cleaned up. or
There is a-
whatever,
yeah,
but
there is
stuff
a-
still ends up there.
Yeah.
If you have a look at what's happening on the Great Barrier Reef or just around Australia's coast,
Isn't it?
people
it
are pulling up
huge-
animals.
Yeah,
that
the
are
Great
in
Garbage
plastic
Patch.
bags.
Yeah, there's an
There's
island.
two of them. There's a one in the Pacific and one in the Atlantic. It's just a massive, like I think it's like hundreds and hundreds of
It's
kilometers.
hundreds of kilometers. It's
Yeah.
literally hundreds of
It's
kilometers.
literally an island of rubbish.
And because of the way the currents are, it's just all collected together.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like all the bubbles in the bubble bath just go to one side.
And then those plastics are breaking down, they're
and then little
finding.
fishes are
Oh,
Yeah,
munching on it.
it's actually too late. You're finding it at the bottom of the ocean. They've broken it in microplastics, they call it,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
they're
in the
everywhere.
abyss, like when they've gone into
It's already
extreme
everywhere.
depths,
Wow.
they found it there.
Obviously, in the ocean it makes sense, but even in like you'll find toxins and things in like the Himalayas. What we think is pristine is gone. You know,
Yeah, well,
there's
what-
stuff
what-
close to pristine, but the idea of something is 100% pristine no longer exists. There's maybe somewhere like these forests in Papua New Guinea, very isolated. There's actually sections of Papua New Guinea where like hundreds of kilometers, no one's ever been in there.
Really?
Yeah. They Australian like sort of what do you call it, biologists. There's species in there we don't even know. Like
Yeah.
we just
Is that right?
yeah, but they don't want to go in. They're careful because
They'll
they
ruin
want to they want to maintain that sort of the ecosystem and don't
Think
want to
about how
disturb it.
much even the Amazon rainforests have been cleared
Yeah.
just for cattle. Like the amount of
But you know, something interesting about the Amazon was they found out now that there are like hundreds of kilometers of roads which are covered over. So the Mayans and all those previous nations that live there, people live there. They had hundreds of kilometers of roads and pyramids and
Yeah, subhanAllah.
cities.
Weren't the roads the river? They used channels, and they kind of like man-made
with
the
these
roads.
LiDAR, whatever you call these satellite things, or these the planes that they fly over, they're scanning it. They're
they
finding
can
out
see
there's
through the
there's
jungle.
jungle roads actually that are now covered over because jungle grows back so quickly.
Yeah.
So they're finding out actually. So it's not like, yeah, I guess.
I mean, look what happened at the start of COVID when the lockdown happened. In Venice, dolphins came back into the canals,
Yeah,
right?
subhanAllah.
Like just all these, the earth was like, right, my turn.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like a reset.
Yeah, I'm
for
not
the
into the Mother Gaia sort of narrative and all that.
Are
You know,
you?
into the Mother Earth and
Nah, I'm into it.
yeah.
We've got to.
the Earth is very big and it should be right, inshallah.
She'll be
she'll be
right.
right,
She'll
mate.
be right. He
Should be
says.
right, yeah.
Well, there's a ship burning in the middle of the ocean full of
Yeah,
lithium.
but the ocean's big, you know. We lost a whole plane from Malaysia, and you know, nobody knows where it went. It's
Yeah,
so
but
big.
Didn't we lose two?
No,
one
one was the
was shut
Ukraine.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it,
Ukraine.
No,
The Russians shot it
the
down.
point is, whether it's
Yeah.
big or whether it's small, it's having an effect on ecosystems that are impacting everybody.
Like I say
else.
always, it's not us; it's the big corporations. And you know, the biggest problem is the pharmaceutical companies. What they're
Yes.
releasing to the rivers and the sea.
What
Like,
the,
they're
the
drugs.
chemicals,
They're actually affecting.
You got stoner fish now, man.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's having a very negative effect on ecosystem. But you know, for the average person's normal family,
Yeah, but the people that
You're recycling.
run these big corporations are the average person. Well, not run, but work for these corporations. So change has to start from somewhere. But we're not getting into this. I don't have the energy to argue with you guys.
Winter Olympics.
It's come and gone, mate.
Yeah, it's already gone.
Did
isn't
any Muslims win anything?
it? To be honest, I did not pay attention.
Yeah, like,
Oh,
and
Norway!
on top of that,
Norway
China.
smashed.
On
Norway
top of that, in
smashed it.
China, it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just looked at the medal tally at the end, and Norway is a population of 5 million. That's what happens when you live in snow.
Yeah.
And they killed it. Like they
Obviously.
beat it.
How did Africa go?
Africa is not a country, mate. It's a continent.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying.
Well, that's what I'm
Is
saying.
anybody-
As a continent,
Oh, okay.
did one guy come?
I don't think we won any medals.
I don't mean
I
Africa
don't
as a
think we
country.
should judge Africa harshly.
They don't have snow.
They don't have snow.
start with.
Yeah, true, we don't.
Number one,
always
Yes, we do.
I think we
Where?
should judge.
On top of Kilimanjaro, Kenya.
Apart from that,
Yeah, there's no one lives there at the top, but we should judge South Asia much harsher since they have the Himalayas.
how did
Yeah,
how did
sure.
Pakistan go?
No, 0, and India's population 10 times ours, and it's still 0. All we need is 1. I think we had somebody previous games win a bronze or something.
For what?
I think that it's that that multi. It's like a pentathlon or
Oh, yeah.
whatever,
It's
but
got
for
shooting and everything in
Shooting,
it.
and there's a guy. I'm sure there was a guy because we got like India, like Nepal, all these countries. They've got like the Himalayas and snow and for skiing and so, but we don't have like a good ski industry and whatever.
Yeah, but it costs money for all that as well.
And that's the thing. Probably this is a rich man's.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, skiing is definitely a rich man's sport.
Yeah.
Not rich man, upper echelons of moderate.
Society.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to buy the.
Unless
you need
you-
a lot of
unless you go to-
equipment.
unless you
need
go
a-
to the
like
end-
soccer, you don't. You just need
Just
a
need
ball.
a ball, that's
yeah.
it.
Cricket, a ball and a bat. And
Unless
that's
you
it.
go to the Audi winter sale when they have their ski gear sale. Have you seen that? When Audi has their snow sale, there's lines, literally like.
you need to get a
hundreds.
job for Audi, bro. Like somewhere in corporate,
Yeah, just plugging Aldi, right?
Fucking Aldi.
Yeah. Right, no, but it's massive, their lines.
Yeah.
And those that know go in there and smash it.
But
'cause you're
South
getting
Asia, like, come on, like there's
They-
there's
yeah.
1.5 billion people in South. That's like a quarter of the world, and not one in the Winter Olympics. You know, I mean that's kind of.
why don't you give them a call?
Huh? Yeah, come on, guys.
Develop a snow industry.
You gotta do some because it's so seasonal, and most of our cities, like I'm from Pakistan, from India, so if you look at subcontinent, like there's no like the main populations live in non-snowy areas,
And they live inland.
yeah,
That's the thing. We're used to in Australia, everybody living on the coast. For example, in India, the majority of the population is inland.
yeah.
And I struggle with that sometimes with my mind, like just to try and
Having no
process
coastline,
that. Yeah,
having
processing that.
no coast, no sea. Yeah, that's it is weird.
I think it's because of population, because you've got no choice. If Australia was 1 billion people, the center of Australia would definitely be
No,
populated.
that'll be dead because there'd be nothing. There's no water. There's no rain. What are you going to populate?
Look at Las Vegas,
Look at Alice Springs. Everyone's under. Las Vegas is a different story altogether.
Yeah.
but it's dry.
Yeah, but
barren.
Las Vegas is billions.
There's
of
a different-
dollars of
there's a
gambling.
different
It's
draw.
A different
Yeah.
draw card.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You need some sort of incentive.
So you want to open up casinos? In
No,
the
it doesn't
middle
have to
of
be the
Australia?
casino. It can be anything. You know, it can.
And then
it has
next
to be
Al Capone
some
We're not going to
reason.
have a subcontinent South Asian cool runnings anytime soon. That's the reality. We're not going to have our own bobsled team.
No.
I don't think it's.
Is there an Indian bobsled
How would they
team?
practice that in a rickshaw? Down a hill. Down a hill.
Yeah, that could.
Was that racist?
No,
I wasn't being racist.
I don't know if it is because it's like me being racist to black people.
Yeah, okay.
You can call it self-hate if you want.
But I wasn't hating.
No, but like you gotta get something. You know, you're representing a quarter of the world's population.
Yeah, but
He's just disappointed you don't have a medal.
It depends. Yeah, you are disappointed. I can feel it. I
The
can
highest
feel that.
mountains. They got the highest mountain, the Himalayas. They got the.
Yeah, but do they have a mountain climbing thing? Because 100%.
No, they do. They do.
They have a mountain climbing
Scene,
sport?
yeah, of course, yeah. No,
Sport.
there's famous Indian, Pakistani
No,
climbers.
not India, Pakistan. I'm talking about in the Olympics. Do they have a mountain climbing sport? Because if they do, those Sherpas from Nepal would win.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
Like think about these tourists. This is what I always trip about, right? Some tourist goes there, hires 5 Sherpas to take him to the top of Mount Everest.
yeah,
He's like, first man to climb Mount Everest. I've climbed. No, you didn't, mate. You had all these guys carrying your stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a-
imagine how tough those guys are.
It reminds me of that video on Reddit. I don't know if I've sent it to you. I don't know if you remember, but it was these Sherpas that went up, and the person that they were guiding up there, he was suffering from lack of oxygen, and you know what his Sherpa was doing? Looking at him and having a cigarette.
No way. You didn't send me that.
Because I've done this like 5 times this week already. He's probably done it 5 times that week.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But now it's nothing. Like going up to Everest is become
there's a traffic jam on the top of Mount Everest.
and it's like Instagram
Yeah.
people, and there's like teenagers going, and
But the crazy thing is,
Yeah.
people go there without preparation. They're the ones that are dying,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? And their bodies are just left up there.
Yeah, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf said that lady that went there died and left the kids orphan. What a stupid woman, you know. But you know, some people are just like taking risks for nothing. But anyway, I just quashed his adventurous spirit. But,
No. I have no desire to climb Mount
Yeah.
Everest or anywhere cold for that matter.
The world's about to go to war. It looks like.
Right.
in
Is
fucking
it
Ukraine.
going to go to war or is it a setup? I don't know. But again, there's a lot of arguments coming out about Putin moving in with peacekeeping and things like that.
No, that's what he calls them. It's an
does,
invasion force.
But does the West have a leg to stand on?
Hell, I was about to swear. But
What about
no,
all the countries
absolutely
that
not.
we've
not
invaded, but
absolute. I don't
No,
think.
well, imagine, okay,
Iraq.
Russia goes to Mexico and says, "We're going to start a new, alliance, a military alliance." How do you think America would react? Because Ukraine is right next door; it's literally on their border.
Yeah.
Right, and at the same time, when we went into Iraq, for example, it was on a false narrative of weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah,
So what happened there?
I think the West has stuffed up in the way they kept on expanding NATO East when there was a agreement, just sort of a general
That's right.
that we're not going to go past a certain point. But I think Russia was so weak in the 90s.
yeah, because of
Had
the
red lines.
Soviet collapse.
Yeltsin, if you remember those days, and in the early 2000s as well, and they were very weak.
I remember that.
So
Their
what the West did,
military,
the West
even
just
their
kept it
navy-
going. The Russia couldn't do anything.
We'll do whatever we want.
Yeah, I remember
It's
that.
not that they didn't do that, but they just kept on going, and and they kept on making in European Union expanded and also NATO expanded as well. In the meanwhile, Putin's been accumulating wealth and oligarchs and all that sort of stuff, and oil wealth and so forth, and building to a certain level armaments. It probably will not stand against the West successfully. It's like a lot of their stuff is outdated and so forth.
Is that right though? Are you sure?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I'd beg to differ.
You can say that, but I'm talking about first world. You're comparing first world technology, third world, second world technology. But anyway,
But would you call Russia second world?
I don't know.
it's not a first world country. Definitely not. Have a look
No,
at the
but
living standard. Look
militarily,
at their
I'm talking about
GDP.
militarily.
Look at their income. Look at their living standards. It's not.
But militarily.
Militarily, it's not. It's not a. It's inherited a lot of legacy systems and from the Soviet Union days.
But a lot of that's been
Cold.
updated.
No, it's not. There's a lot that's not. So they're trying to be expressed to show that they're a power, but the reality is that they probably will not be able to. So that's why the way they're ratcheting up the war sort of rhetoric, and I liked what the UK Prime Minister said. We know this playbook. This is what they're going to do. And the way he said exactly, he's a doofus, like what's his name, Boris Johnson. Yeah, but then when you realize when
that's
you
the playbook everybody's been using. That's
no,
why.
but he explained the Russian playbook. This is how they work. This is.
Yeah, but that's how the
They're not
West works.
stupid. The
But
intelligence.
I still think
You
if
can't
you're
say
if
you
you're
explain the
surrounded,
Russian
imagine
playbook.
you're surrounded.
That's the way the West
They're
works.
literally, Russia is surrounded. Technically, like if you look at the map of Russia,
Yeah.
and you look at all the NATO nations, they've
Yeah.
literally surrounded Russia.
The problem is Ukraine wants to be part of NATO. So how are you going to stop it?
That's
Not all
that's-
of Ukraine.
That's their narrative.
Yeah, but no. Ukraine, the prime president, or whatever, came out and he said, they openly said, he goes, like, we don't care. And you don't have a right to stop us. Because their only power against Russia is to be part of NATO. Like, Ukraine is stuck. It doesn't want to be in the orbit of Russia. And the majority voted. If you see the post-Soviet, when they decided which state wants to be part of the Russian Federation, if you see the actual votes, the election that was held, I'm talking about the early 90s or late 80s, when actually Soviet Union collapsed, and then the states were given a choice to be part of the Russian Federation, right? If you see the stats in Ukraine, it was like 90% on average, except for one Crimea, which is like 58% wanted out of. We don't want to be part of Russia. So there's a strong identity of Ukraine. They have their own identity, but the only way they can preserve that and not be in the orbit of, like, at the mercy of Russia is they're part of another military
But
union.
is that Russia's fault?
What's that?
It's right on their border.
But Russia's pushed them around, like, historically, like they think it's like their backyard.
But it is.
Well,
though.
it
It
is
is
their
their backyard. Yeah. So yeah, it is their backyard. Yeah.
That's like what America does with.
See, this is playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying what
South,
Putin's doing
South
is right
America.
or wrong.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. True.
all the
Yeah.
black ops and all the things that they've done to overthrow
False
this
flag
president and all
operations.
that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's probably there's a
That's why they all know the playbook, because they're all reading from it.
yeah. Yeah. So but in terms of, like, just isolating this thing,
Yeah.
for the Ukrainians themselves, and they're ready for war. Like the Ukrainians
Yeah, they
You
themselves.
see the local Ukrainians, they're ready to fight. Like,
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are.
that's it.
Klitsch, the boxer, he's a mayor of Kiev. Klitschko, like he's
Klitschko,
world
yeah.
champion. He's a world champion though for like a long time.
Yeah.
So he's a mayor of Kiev, like the main city, and he said no. He's ex-soldier. He's military as well. He's an interesting guy, man. Like, but he said that we are like.
Yeah, they're ready. They're not
Yeah,
worried.
Yeah,
They're not worried
they're
in
like
terms
very
of, oh my
Russian
God,
in their
what's gonna
attitude.
happen?
Like
Yeah.
they're very Eastern
Yeah.
European. So they're not. But I think what he's doing is he's taking out those two provinces,
That's right.
and those two provinces, majority of the province actually don't want to be part of Russia. That's the thing. Only the eastern halves of those two provinces. So they've sent in like tanks now. Yeah.
And the thing is, China's watching this very carefully, because they got Taiwan around the corner, which they've got aspirations towards.
Yeah.
So how is the West going to react to this now? I think
I think
right now it's sanctions.
if it does happen, I think that's when China will make their move while they're preoccupied.
They've done it before.
Yeah.
Like with India. With India, Ladakh and these places,
Yeah,
China
yeah.
took it while the world was distracted with some other,
Yeah.
with the Cuba crisis or something like that.
Yeah.
So when something else was happening, so they know that now they're
Yeah.
not going to repeat they got their, they got their eyes. I
Everywhere.
don't think they're stupid. They've got enough people now to watch.
And there's enough military and ships and
Yeah.
everything. To
I
make
don't
sure.
know. Look what they've done so far in China, right? They've slowly taken over the southeastern Chinese Sea. You know, that's historically for
Well, they said they've
Timor and all that kind of stuff.
But they
They've
haven't
built
really.
islands.
They just built some bases. They built some.
They built an
bases.
island, but
that's pretty hectic.
and they said this is our area, and the
Yeah, but it
Americans
just takes
and the
one
Americans
missile.
took their ships through it
Yeah.
to show
They
that
did
you're
nothing
not.
about it.
Oh,
You
that's
can't
true,
ignore
yeah.
international law. International law is 100 kilometers or whatever it is at from the
But
land.
the international law we're looking at is only 100 years old.
Yeah, but it's accepted generally in the world that this is the like it's just water, right? So they try it's open thing, but they took out. If you actually look at the map, they took like a part of Malaysia, Philippines, their waters,
Yeah.
right? And so things are moving. Is this in Japan? They're passing that bill.
No.
That Japan, it's a bill. I don't know. It's a crazy video of these MPs. They're jumping on top of
What?
the guy. They're signing the bill,
And what
which
is
is
it?
that this is a because they were allowed to keep a defensive force
Oh, yeah,
after
that's
World
right.
War II.
Yeah, yeah.
But now they've signed into law. Japan's also becoming very militarized, and they're signing a law into effect that basically we can attack a country preemptively. Yeah. So that's like so the whole region is getting like
Yeah.
everywhere. It's like it's getting
It feels like World War III,
yeah.
man.
That little island is dangerous.
which one?
Japan. You've got
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
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 We got to watch those guys.
Look,
Yeah.
all we got to do is make a lot of
Don't be
dua.
fooled by the anime and the all the other weird stuff that Japan. All
The heated toilet seats.
and the
That's pretty good, though.
and
Yeah,
vending
I'll
machines.
take
Don't go
Not-
there. Don't go there.
the vending machines.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by all of that. They could.
It is really hot in this room.
Is it?
I don't know if it's.
Yeah,
I'm actually
I'm
loving it.
boiling.
it's nice.
Compared to
It's
when you
nice.
guys turned this air conditioner on in here, I came in here, the air
had the
conditioner
AC on
was,
for
and
a
I was
while.
worried. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's-
great. I've got my jacket here.
I probably stink.
I bought my jacket
Yeah.
just in case.
That's why he's standing at the way at the end of the table.
So what do you think? Well, I think we need to make a lot of dua that Allah.
Yeah,
Jesus,
cools
listen
things
to
down.
All right, last thing for the night, and inshallah, we'll hopefully next week we have another session. Inshallah,
Inshallah.
another recording. But last thing, the Canadian protesters and New Zealand protesters, Australian protesters. All right, let's finish on a lighthearted topic.
Is that a protest or is that anarchy?
That is people going out of that's holding a city hostage. You know,
Isn't that what a protest is, though?
no, it's not.
Don't you hold certain key areas of certain places?
No,
No, it's your.
so that they get your message.
no.
Because you don't want to do a protest that's convenient. No one's going to care. Do you know what I mean?
No. But what they
Do
did was
people
they
even care
abused.
about protests anyway?
No, but it's
Do
very.
protests make a difference?
I think some do, man. Especially if you're doing something that disrupts everyday life.
I think
to
what
such a
it can
degree.
do, I don't think it depends on the government that's in charge. So if the government's there, like in Egypt, when they did it, they did change the government and so forth.
Yeah.
They brought it down to its knees.
Oh,
but
but that was
that was
The
a
Arab
whole
Spring.
level.
You're
But
talking
you're
about the
dealing-
Arab Spring. That wasn't a protest. That was a revolution.
Yeah, so that's
There's a difference.
so there's like there's a few steps to that, but it did start off with a protest, right?
Yeah.
But I think
Trudeau better watch out.
But you're dealing with it. But there you're dealing with a police state where very few people control. There's no rule of law. There's no representation of the people in. See, here's different in Australia or New Zealand or Canada, in France, whatever. The people's representatives are in Parliament. They're the ones deciding on the emergency laws. The people that we voted in. So when they like to pretend that, and if you don't like them next election, you can kick them out. That's the reality. That's what a democracy is.
Yeah.
So it's while in those states it's very absolute. The power is absolutely controlled by a few individuals. One guy at the top, the strongman, and he's got a few people, his henchmen
But
around him.
people have a right to protest.
They can
And
express their
is it
grievances.
the right
Yeah.
of, for example, Trudeau talking about freezing people's bank accounts?
He's not talking. He's actually done
No,
it.
no, they've done it. They've done it.
So
They've-
freezing people's bank accounts. Let's look at
but
that.
it wasn't
That-
just about
that's
because
wrong.
it was the only way to cripple that, because they were stalling there's $150 million of trade per day between US and
Yeah, but these are the truck drivers that are protesting. So
no, this is not all the truck drivers. This is like 97. This is a 7% of the truck drivers. 93% of truck drivers are vaccinated, doing their thing, work and whatever. There's hundreds of thousands of truck drivers, and there's a real, what's Elon Musk talks about this, and who else talks about this? Yeah, he talks about this, that we're about to Andrew Yang, Yang, I forgot. Anyway. He was talking about this. We're about to get a rude awakening because this whole industry, within about 10 years, is going to collapse.
What
Because
industry?
automated
The
truck
trucking
driving
industry.
truck
Oh, okay.
industry.
Yeah.
Like and they by doing things like this, they've just expedited the
that's
reality.
true.
They're about to find out that they're flexing muscle now. The big companies, the governments, we need to fast track this automated truck, self-driving trucks.
Elon, come on, hurry up.
Yeah, exactly. Like
but
we'll pass the laws for you, like, and we'll get rid of this. But they're not representative of all the truckers. That's the first thing. If you look at the numbers, they're only like 7% of the truckers who refuse to get vaccinated. So that's one thing. Them going, a lot of the money most of the money came from where? The donations and support.
Trump.
No,
People donating.
From US.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. So it wasn't even coming from within Canada; it was coming from outside of Canada. Like there was, and then that one church, they set up like a GoFund sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like they had their own app or something, and
there was
10,000 people donated through that.
There was a single mother that donated $50, and her account got frozen. As well.
There was 10,000.
Wow.
And
I disagree with that. I disagree with the freezing of the accounts.
The 10,000 people that donated whatever through that, there was a hack, and all their details were put on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, so you know who exactly. So everybody started checking. Then my uncle, my right wing uncle, like his email, like everyone started checking their relatives. Yep, his name is there.
Yeah, but the
makes
thing,
sense.
That's not the point. My point is, at what point does a state have the right?
Yeah, because
to infringe on that, and where does it stop?
But this trucker blockade or these they infringed on that city. And that's the problem. The problem is like they were also infringing because they were blaring. You got 1,100 trucks. You got 1,100 trucks blaring their horns for 3 weeks.
But
and
this
the
is
people
exactly what China does.
And the people in the city, they were sick of it. That's a part of the problem as well. They didn't like just go in front of Parliament and so forth. They bothered the people. And
every time a protest happens,
it
annoys me. But I mean, it's something that they have a right to. We live in a
way to do it.
There's
a way, but the way they were doing, But the thing is, I was watching videos of people, because my kids can't sleep.
So why did Trudeau back those farmers in India? That was a year-long protest. Roads were blocked.
Let's stay on one thing here.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about that because
that's far away. It's got nothing to do with Canada. You can have a separate policy for something on the other side of the world that doesn't bother you. Here, business was getting affected, so the business lobbies and so forth, they were Chambers of Commerce, all this. They were putting pressure on him. They said, look, our businesses are getting stuffed up. It could be the billionaires, it could be millionaires, it could be even small businesses. Like, we can't get supplies. I can tell you someone who's imported stuff into Australia. Look, the supply chain issue, how frustrating it is when your goods can't come in. And so, even though I'm not not even at 10,000 air,
he's talking about his Amazon orders from China.
No, I'm talking about the madrasa books. And
I thought when he said, I can tell you about someone that's imported stuff into Australia.
So I get it.
Who's he talking about?
I get it from the business owner's perspective. Like, these guys were, they were disturbing trade excessively, right? And secondly, they were disturbing the city. I think there was 2-3 things that went into it.
That's fine. I get that.
I'm going to be with Wajid
because every
protest,
you should not be touching people's bank accounts.
Yeah, every protest is going to have some sort of inconvenience. You're not going to have a protest where everything goes smoothly.
That was the whole point of that protest.
Yeah, but if you see some of the things these guys were saying, they were not just talking about protests. There's people in there from the leadership. There's people that said that, basically... put a bullet in Trudeau. There's like that type of protest.
Okay, that's
They're not
fine,
really
but
protesters.
What I'm saying is that could be through anger, it could be whatever. But that does not give the state this is my biggest concern here. The state the right.
No, they gave the right because they passed emergency law, so they got the right.
Yep, that's right.
So the people that the Canadians have voted in, the people that they've elected, they felt it was right. The elected body.
He actually didn't meet the requirements to introduce an emergency.
I don't think so. I think I think he did.
No, there was a body.
I saw the vote. I watched the vote.
No, but there was a body in Canada.
There's people that have disputed this constitutionally and so forth. Yeah,
so.
True. But it's in place now. So it's been voted in and it's in place. Let's say he got the numbers.
Yeah.
That means that's the law because they're lawmakers. So that's the law now. And if you've supported it, well, you're about to cop it. So you're saying
China becoming a police state, what they're doing is fine because
China number one.
Well, yeah. The state we have certain things, like the state shouldn't have overreach.
Listen, it may be a slow decline into fascism.
Yeah.
But then when that ball starts rolling and that boulder's rolling down that hill, it builds up speed pretty quick.
Oh, that's your opinion. I don't agree. I think
at history.
I think they will rein it in. Like they said, the Emergency Act is temporary.
But that's how they, like, in history, if you look at it, they always start with small little things.
I'm not taking the side of the
Well, let's
truckers
see.
here.
Let's watch it and see if they roll it back. They'll as soon as it protest, because they've cleaned up the street, and that's what I was telling Abdul Wajid. Like, I have authoritarian tendencies, and
That's what I'm saying.
I enjoyed the protests being taken apart. Actually, was watching it. I was like really enjoying the way how the police handle operation. It's not as good.
Imagine
Not
if
as
his
good as
background was
St.
like Chinese or Middle Eastern or something. If you're born in the Middle East,
No,
you
that's
would have
different.
been like
I'm talking about the
Khalid Shah of Libya. Right?
No. I'm not talking about dictator. I just like a
bro,
well
you would
executed.
be the most hectic
I
dictator out.
love watching a well executed police operation, and
The same way that people watch those, the satisfying videos.
I really I enjoyed the remember the St Kilda one?
Yeah.
St Kilda
That
Street?
was quite impressive.
That was
what
impressive.
Victoria
The one-
Police
the
did was
aerial
impressive.
shot, like how they would send in and pull one guy out,
Yeah, that's
and
impressive.
process him,
See,
and then they keep doing it. Come on, you
That-
enjoyed that.
I get that.
That's impressive,
I'm
yeah.
okay with that.
It's like Warcraft, Command and Conquer,
Yeah.
like video
No,
game. Just
but
giving me those sort of.
I am okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay
they
with
should
that.
make a video game of that.
Because if they're just
How to break up a protest.
How to break Antifa. How to break, like you should get different levels, like Antifa.
that's actually wait, don't keep
Canadian
talking. This is a
convoy.
great idea. It's actually a great idea. That's actually a great idea.
It will be it's an amazing idea.
Edit this bit out.
No. We're gonna
And we'll discuss
make
more.
a game like that. I'll play it.
If you guys do make it, please remember, yeah?
Yeah, you heard it here first. Make sure we get like 5%.
I bet you
10%.
someone's made this already, like how to break up a
Yeah,
protest.
but my point is that.
Did you see the horses one when they came in?
Horses?
They sent in the line of horses in the protest.
No, I didn't see that.
I said knight to E4. Knight to E4 is the move of the night when it comes out
Yeah.
from the. It comes to the. Like it just the way they bring the horses in, and the protesters push somebody in front, the horses, and then they started screaming. They trampled the lady.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
But just how beautifully the horses came in, and then the police moved in.
But my point is going back to.
I'm just triggering you guys.
There's that. No, so I'm not triggered, but all I'm concerned about is
Yep.
the freezing of those bank accounts was overreach.
That I 100% agree with
I
that.
think
yeah.
That's my
$50
biggest concern.
I agree with you. If the $50 and
Like a mother, $50 single mother, she chucked $50.
But the thing is
in.
that if you send $50 to a quote unquote terrorist organization,
Yeah, you're stuffed as well.
You're
I
stuffed,
disagree with that as well.
what do you mean?
Depending on what the organization, because each organization it depends on.
The Canadian convoy were terrorists.
Oh,
I'm just triggering guys. They were terrorizing the
sending
city.
$50 to a terrorist
Ontario.
organization and sending $50 to protesters are two very different things.
I think they should have had a cutoff, and not every person. I'm not
weren't-
sure. If,
the truckers
where
weren't
did it
killing
happen?
people.
Is it true?
it's just something I read on Reddit.
Well, we
So it
haven't.
must be true.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't know if it's true or not.
But there's like guys, like for example,
yeah.
US, they send like $700,000.
What?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. He sent $700,000. So you got those type of guys as well.
I can understand that.
Yeah, the My Pillow guy.
Yeah, but that
he
billionaire.
said-
The thing
he
is,
was trying to take
billionaires-
pillows for them.
He's got other.
He got stopped at the border, and then he was suggesting that we should use like helicopters, as though Canada is just like a part of America.
oh, what? Send helicopters over to drop pillows.
Pillows, yeah. That was his. There's some like geniuses, high level
What,
geniuses.
from
that-
America?
well,
Yeah.
that's his business, like My Pillow. That's
But
his
he wants to send
that's
helicopters
Tr-
into
Trump's
Canadian airspace.
Well, the trucks were stopped and sent back. You can't come in.
Yeah, I get that.
And then the next, his suggestion was to like do airdrops of pillows, but like it's a sovereign country, and the way the Americans, this is one thing that really ticks me off about Americans. The way they talk about Canada is like it's their part of their country, and some Canadians are so dumb
That they think that
they think they're part of America, so they know more about. They're so attuned to American culture.
Really?
Yeah, they said my First Amendment right or something like that. And like, what are you talking about? You're in Canada. You're in Canada. You're still under the Queen.
Yeah.
You guys are you never got independence, so they don't have an Independence Day like the Americans. So like there's a lot of uneducated people on both sides of the border supporting that cause. In Canada, there's protesting now in front of the Parliament. You know what the way they tried to disperse in Canada on the big speakers. They were playing, that flute music that's really off key. They played that or just to annoy them. They played the Macarena. They played like Barry Manilow songs. It was just to get them like
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Disperse.
like real. And what's that shark song with the
Oh, Baby Shark.
Baby Shark? They were playing that.
Bro, have you seen the amount of views on that?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
What the hell?
yeah. There's kids.
Billions of views. Those kids have retired for life, mate.
I was explaining to you about Americans. Americans are.
Here we go.
Sorry to cut you off. but
Americans
I know
according
Baby
to
Shark. I know you
Shaq
want to talk about Baby Shark, but I want to talk about
I don't want
American.
to talk about Baby Shark.
And last thing, I'll just finish off with the night. I think it's getting it's late here. So, but the US, some of my favorite speakers, sheikhs, whatever, they're debating, arguing, fighting at the moment online.
Sheikhs.
Sheikhs
Like
and
Muslims.
people, yeah.
Proper
And,
sheikhs.
yeah, but it's such. I realize Americans are
Loud.
they're loud and proud. And they are
And they're
annoying
free. And they're free,
actually
brother.
I realize how
They're
annoying
free.
Americans. This is just, I'm giving my opinions tonight, but I realize I like some of their sheikhs, but even these are all ones I like. They're fighting amongst each other.
Yeah.
It's related to LGBT support. Some of them are more traditionalists. Some of them are saying, look, we need to sort of work with them, accommodate them. There's that view. Of course, in Australia, this wouldn't fly in the Muslim community here.
Yeah.
Like we will not. Like I think Allah protects us here. Partly is because we are mainly a majority of our community is from a blue collar background. We have professionals, and alhamdulillah, that blue collar background is more grounded in like sort of traditional Islam, and that sort of nonsense wouldn't fly in our community. I think that's actually a feather in our cap. Maybe more similar to the UK and so forth. That background is generally sort of blue collar, and people are simple people who like live simply, worked hard, and so forth. When you get highfalutin like academics and so forth, I think America's got that problem a little bit in the heads of the organizations. They live inside their heads a little bit too much, but just they. I found that when I saw them like fighting, I lean towards the more traditional view, obviously, and we should not be
No
accommodating.
way.
But the way they're attacking each other, and
Are they?
it's like how do you say it? Like there's a confidence Americans have many times.
False bravado.
Yeah. And then you got people attacking, and they missed, instead of just like deen, like they got to have that.
Yeah, they're putting other things in there.
Yeah,
Other
and
than deen,
it's Americanism inside deen, and then even the one that's like anti, sort of like really strictly against LGBT, but then he doesn't show the proper respect. The way, like, it's a very American loudmouth way of doing it.
Yeah.
So it's a mess. It's
The
all
other-
those people, all
the
those people,
other- and the
all the
Buzruk.
people that as I like, and they're fighting amongst each other, and just
Is there Buzrukin in the US?
this is
these
why
guys?
I appreciated this week. I listened to a conference last week. I think I sent it to you from South
No, you haven't
Africa.
sent it. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, okay, it's like 5.5 hours long, and all the senior ulama South Africa. South Africa is a third world country. The Muslims are well off. It's an English speaking country. But what I find in listening to their ulama, their senior ulama, South Africans in Australia, with all due respect to South Africans in Australia, but they don't impress me. But South Africans, South Africa, they're seniors. It's like you get, like, from a traditional Muslim country, senior ulama, but in the English speaking, and they've been there for a long time. So Muslims have been there for several hundred years. A lot of Darul Ulooms established.
Several hundred years?
Yeah, from 1780s, like the first. So the first
That's
like
like
Muslims
several
that were
hundred
there,
years.
they were from the Indonesia, that region, Malaya region. There was like the Dutch took, Robben
So they've
Island.
been there a few hundred years, not several hundred.
Several
That's
hundred years,
700.
few hundred years, whatever, 250 years they've been there.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
they took these ulama, like, and they were the rebels. They were fighting, like, freedom fighters against the Dutch, and then they took them, and then they were arrested. They were kept in, like, as a convict colony in Robben Island, where Mandela was jailed for 30 years. So if you see on that Robben Island, there's graves of, like, ulama,
Oh wow.
and then some of those ulama, they have to stay in Cape Town. They cannot leave.
Why?
Like, it's house arrest because they're
Okay,
prisoners
yeah.
of war, or whatever you want to call it. So that's what they do, convict colonies. Like, for example, the French had Numia, so Algerian freedom fighters. There's generations now there of Algerian, don't speak Arabic, but they are descendants of freedom fighters, ulama and so forth, that were taken. Like, they just took the person, put him on the other side in the world in a convict colony. So the Cape Town one, so there's ulama, I think Tuan Yusuf or something like that, rahmullah. So he started the first children's classes, wrote books in that time. Malay, Indonesian, Malay, you can say, I guess, person, alim. And then you've got the Indians that came like 100 or so years ago, and then they built madrasas and so forth that continue that tradition. And so, mashallah, like there's a seniority and a history of Islam there.
Yeah.
And then the ulama that studied like 50 years ago, 60, 70, we don't have that in Australia. US doesn't have it either. UK doesn't have it either. UK's got a little few, have a few traditional ulama, but UK's Muslims are also maybe like 30, 40 years. South Africa, but the thing, South Africa doesn't translate everything, doesn't translate well into like a Western country because it's still a third world country.
Yeah.
Like but just listen to the ulama. I was just listening to it, how staunch, how well grounded they are in tradition
And respectful.
and respect, and they attacking like that whole Abrahamic Accords thing that has been pushed in the Arab world. I'm not sure it's in other countries, but in the Arab world they're pushing this thing of the Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Like we're like basically one.
What?
And he said this whole thing in South Africa, when this like they caught air of this, they said this is basically being created to take Islam out of Muslims. It's like an anti-Islamic thing.
Yeah.
This is no way something that we can ever promote. It's kufr actually. And so they like, but the way they speak and you can see the mashallah barik alayhim, that the way they speak and articulate and the way they refute is with knowledge and a very broad base of traditional Islam and scholarship behind it. Even though they're giving just talks, but you can see there's a scholarship and depth from the ayat al-Quran and hadith and so forth, and beautifully, like if you listen to it, you really like, oh, okay, this is how you're supposed to tackle an issue of fitna, of communal benefit, of if fitna is spreading in society or something's being done wrong. So that's how like when you watch it, you really do appreciate that traditionalness or seniority that they have in ilm and so forth, which we don't have here. We're protected. Alhamdulillah, we have some ulama and so forth.
Is that you in like 30 years' time?
I don't think so.
Sheikh Khalid.
I'm on a podcast. I don't know where I'll be in 30 years. I'm going backwards. But what I'm saying is that it's in English-speaking world, if you want like senior ulama and like senior ulama heads of madaris and so forth, and people got like, they've been teaching for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in the US or in the UK or anywhere else in the English world, because we're English-speaking podcast, English. So in Australia we don't have, in New Zealand we don't have. Yeah, we have one or two senior ulama, but it's not like they're not, all the Muslims are not plugged into them, and when they give directives or advice, people are not listening. So it's not like Allah help us and Allah protect us. But the American one is the American Islam and the Americanism in Islamic discourse over there. In the way and I don't think even they notice it, and they're all good actually. I like listen to all of them, but then they're fighting amongst each other, and then because one criticizes and the way the other attacks back, and they actually attacking it's like there's a lot of straw man arguments and a lot of red herrings, and when you analyze it, you guys are not even talking to each other. Yeah. You are not actually communicating.
They're just shouting. They're just shouting at each
it's
other.
a very American way of doing it. And it's not even like we're just looking at like can't bother with this stuff. I like all you guys, but the way you fight each other, it's. I think in Australia we are very fortunate. We have a long way to go to develop the institutes and the of traditional Islam and proper Islam. It will take time, but I hope Allah protects us in the meantime, because so many social things are going on and we're getting distracted. But anyway, I'll stop there. It's my rant, my speech. Astaghfirullah Azim.
Thank you for listening. Anything to add, Lata, in the last few moments of this podcast?
No, let's wrap it up.
Please like, subscribe,
bring some veggies for us, inshallah, next time.
Grow some veggies.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta bring that raw liver. Weren't we waiting last year for, what was it, brisket?
Brisket, that's right.
I moved the house and I still unpacking.
Here we go.
I got COVID.
That was the excuse last time.
Do you still have the barbecue though?
I threw it out, so I got to buy another one. I need that smoker. It got damaged, so when I was moving, so I also moved as well to this side of town, so I'm a bit closer from here. And alhamdulillah,
let's drive.
Closer to Abdul Wajid later.
Huh?
I'm closer to you guys.
Yeah, you haven't got a long drive home tonight.
Yeah,
does it feel good?
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Yeah, does it?
Alhamdulillah. Let's finish, inshallah.
All right. Have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Inshallah, we'll see you guys next week.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa
Assalamu
rahmatullahi wa
alaikum
barakatuh.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.